Here now, NewsNation political contributor and Republican strategist Denise Gitsham, former aide to President George W. Bush. Hello to you and thanks as always. It sounds as though both sides are pretty far apart on agreeing on what type of reforms they'd like to see with DHS. How much leverage do Republicans have right now?
Well, what could be more fitting than another shutdown conversation on Groundhog Day, Marnie? This is crazy. I don't, it seems like Speaker Mike Johnson seems fairly confident that they're going to get this done by Tuesday. Obviously, you've got an Anna Paulina Luna issue, similar to what happened with Lindsey Graham on the Senate side, but I'm confident that that'll get worked out through leadership. I think the issue for me as a Republican looking at sort of this resistance movement by House Democrats is, what are you really trying to accomplish? We've heard your stated goals. If you want more body cams, that's in the existing bills that have already been approved for DHS. So all the other things are posturing and things that are not going to get done, like your demands for different things that they've asked for. They're not things that Republicans are going to come to the table on. So really, to me, it feels more like a moment where they're looking to, all of them are looking to establish themselves as the head of a really leaderless party on the left. And they're just, I guess, willing to make Americans suffer for it.
What do you see the role and the pressure on Mike Johnson right now with such a slim majority in the House to get things back open, given the issues at hand?
Well, that's a job I wouldn't want, and anyone who has any sanity wouldn't want. I feel so sorry for Speaker Mike Johnson and all that he's had to navigate, but he does it with such grace. I think the pressure is always there on him. Sometimes I think things can't get worse, and then something does, and I think, man, I'm just so glad I'm not Speaker Mike Johnson right now. But he seems confident, again, that he's going to get the votes that he needs. I think Republicans need to realize, and we've got a Tom Massey issue that's always persistent on our side. We can't afford to lose anyone. We have different factions, just like the Democrats do, although I think they're a little more united under President Trump and more willing to work together than they were before. But I think that Speaker Mike Johnson knows what he's doing. He's gone through this before, and this time he's going to do exactly what he did before. We still do have a majority. Yes, it's slim. Yes, it's one vote. But I believe that ultimately Republicans will band together because we believe in the law of the land. This is what's fundamentally different between us and what the Democrats are saying right now, is that we really do believe that ultimately the Constitution should prevail, that the Supremacy Clause is real, and the federal immigration laws should be enforced. And that's really at the fundamental basic argument between Democrats and Republicans right now, is do we want to be a nation of laws or do we want to be lawless?
Do you get a sense, Denise, that this isn't just going to be a one-off? I mean, the protests in Minneapolis now going into a second month. Do we have a year ahead of different cities facing the same challenges and Republicans and Democrats and the American public debating the how you go about enforcing the law?
Whether or not we see this move in the same way as Minneapolis has revolted, and you'll notice what the president said is true. I mean, this is only happening, we're only having these sorts of protests, and this destruction of city property, all the things that you were playing in the clips of the city council members talking about the destruction to Minneapolis, I mean, that's self-inflicted damage, and it's caused by the leaders and the rhetoric of those cities, and it's fueling the fire that's destroying their cities, and we're not seeing that across the nation. We're seeing it in mostly blue cities that are hell-bent on opposing Trump. And so I don't really know what we're going to see play out across the nation. What blue cities are left? We had LA, we had Chicago, we had Portland, we have Minneapolis now, maybe New York City, when Zohran Mamdani makes a statement about how they're going to resist and kick out ICE as well. Who knows? But the bottom line is we've seen what the judicial branch has said, right? A Biden-appointed judge has said that ICE is allowed to continue operating in Minneapolis, a Democratically appointed judge. And that's because that's where enforcement of this ultimately lies, is with the executive branch. And so no matter what resistance comes about, and I hope we don't see a lot of it of this nature because it's so destructive and it kills people. But ultimately, the law is going to stand because that's what we are, as a nation of laws.
Denise, as always, thank you.